I am Ann-Peggy Divine. Welcome to the Divine Design, the podcast where we unfold heaven on earth and reframe spirituality and theology for a new cosmic era. Your journey on human evolution and integration of your divine design starts here. Welcome, Tara.
Okay, Swastyastu to you.
Thank you. It's so wonderful meeting you.
Yeah, it's great meeting you too. So Swastyastu is Balinese and it means may you be secure in your true nature.
Yeah. And we met for the first time today when we're doing this recording. And so I don't know you. So we are getting to know each other through this conversation. And we speak about, well, we just borrow this body. We are not the body. But the belief is that we are the body.
Yes. Well, it's not a belief as much as it is a program.
Yeah.
I mean, a belief is the expression of the program.
Yeah.
A belief is an expression of the program. Yeah. And that program creates that expression to so that we can be enslaved so that we can become enslaved and forget that we are immortal and ageless and everything. So it's just a program. It's just a program. It's just like a computer program.
Yeah.
And it's changing right now on the planet. So it's a pretty exciting time to be alive.
Yeah, it is.
Actually.
Yeah. And we go back to the more feminine side of us, and the feminine side is more the remembrance. We remember.
Oh, okay. How do you speak to that? I don't quite understand what you're saying there.
Okay. The feminine aspect is like we get more sensitive. We know that we are not the body. We use the body as a tool to experience. But we know that we are more on that than our body. And the feminine is more the holder and the remembrance of who we are in essence.
Oh, I like that. I've never,
But you live it out, so you don't have to think about it. Some people just live it out, not as a concept, but we are it. So you radiate who you are.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's it's like what's holding our body in place is this sky-like emptiness. Okay, that's energy. It's just eternal energy, and it's always moving all the time. And it's like this sky-like space. So it's holding our body, holding this form, holding the tree, holding the bee, the pig, everything in place. So when you look at the sky, you see the clouds appearing and then disappearing into the background of the sky. And that's how I experience just really being this space in the body, because it's all we're roll your boat gently down the stream.
Yeah.
Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. That's what that nursery rhyme is about. It's because what we are seeing as the body and what is here is always changing.
Yeah.
It's always changing because it's a big drama to be here. And that's why we're here, to play in this drama. So it's always changing. So what remains? This huge space, this sky-like space. It's just very receptive, like you said, the feminine. Yeah. And we have this backbone, this masculine, that's very discerning and gives us structure.
Yep.
This energetic, but it's all the space. It's all coming from that space. It's just all these different frequencies and energies that are in our body. Yeah. And so once we allow ourselves to go, we're just rowing along. We're the navigator. We're not the driver of it.
That's true. That's so true.
Not the driver. It's that's a big, huge thing. If you're not the driver, then just easily things like what you said, beliefs will just start falling away. And it's and this whole thing is the because for 3 decades, I worked with violent trauma survivors as an intuitive integrative healer, shamanic adept, trauma expert, blah, blah, blah. And to me, and I've experienced tons and tons of violence and that stuff, but I don't call it trauma. It's life experiences. It's all life. If you're going to identify it as trauma, you're going to be really stuck in it, and everything around you will start like just spinning in that illusion.
So true.
And keep you more into the program.
Yeah.
But if it's just this is why we're here. This is why we came to Earth, is to have all these different experiences.
Yes.
So that we could remember.
Yes.
Who we are.
Yes.
That's it. That's the purpose.
Yeah, that's the purpose. But I love what you did. You sang a song, and this is through songs. It makes we get emotional and we feel the vibration. And all humans have their own song. And if we remember our song, then we live as the source, and then we know we live with our remembrance. So when you brought the song, it's like, yes, because you are doing it so perfect. It's like we don't need to think it, but we just are what we are, kind of.
Yeah, but that's the remembrance.
That's the remembrance.
To keep relaxing into that space and to keep trusting it as who we are. That's all there is. It's just that. There's nothing to seek. There's nothing ever. In my first solo show, I did this. This song came. It's like, wake up, sing your soul song. Every day we are born. Every moment a new dawn. Fly high. You're a live wire. Slide down the rainbow spiral and become your heart's desire. Because and that's what the experiences are for. Because this body is a vehicle, a temple, and an instrument.
Yes.
And so the instrument plays all the different frequencies that we need to play according to our divine design.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So we are now...
And in order to find that divine design, we need to remember that we're not the beliefs, we're not the program. We need to just keep returning and keep remembering that we are the immortal space in there.
Yeah.
And then that's how we can discover our soul song. Yeah. Because each of us have this eternal light. Yep. Is what the Zen guys call the original face, this light. So that drops into the body.
Yep.
And then each of us has an individual divine design.
Yep.
In terms of how that radiates and is expressed into the world.
Yes. And what we are seeing now, we are becoming more and more sensitive, because the feminine is more sensitive. And the more sensitive we become, the more we remember, because being sensitive is information, and we remember through emotion. So that we see that the feminine is kind of on a rise, because we have been so masculine. No, we are not supposed to feel anything, just go body mind. And now we're opening like a flower to this feminine being and sensing, and most importantly, remember.
Yeah, the Pero Karu call this time the Pachakuti, the rebalancing.
Yeah.
So that's basically what's happening, so we can move into for me it's how to live with an art and to train the mind that wants to believe the program. The mind is logical and we need that.
Yeah.
But it's also part of the space. It is the space.
Yeah.
And so we train it to be in service to the feeling, to the intuitive feeling nature of the heart.
Yeah.
Then, it embraces the wounds of the ego. Because if we didn't have an ego, you and I wouldn't be sitting here.
No, that's true.
Each other.
That's true.
So but it's the ego where the wounds of the past and the now are attached onto.
Yeah.
So if we embrace them with love, with this, with the heart and the heart mind, then they start to integrate, and the gifts start to be start to be being forward, and they integrate into the heart mind, so the ego then takes its true role as the actor of the heart mind. So that way, because why would we have an ego if we were supposed to kill it like everybody thinks? Somebody asked, and the guy who was given the talk asked her, "Oh, what's the blah blah blah?" And the woman's, and my answer was illusion, and the woman's answer was ego. Now, the difference between illusion and ego is that ego is a part of the program. Illusion is what we are seeing and is real, and it's what the ego attaches to. It's not the ego, it's the illusion. So too many people are still, I was kind of blown away when that woman said that, because I always have to see like, oh, people really still believe. but it's like, it makes it very, very hard, and it's part of the program, and that is, what we've all come to. That's why it's so much fun being on Earth, because it's such a, you never know. It's just, you never know.
You never know. But we want to come in, as you say, you talk about the heart, but when we come in heart coherence, then we align with Mother Nature, Mother Earth, and the divine design. Because I told you just now when we met that here I have rented a house in an area where there are so strong magnetism, and immediately we go into heart coherence. So it is impossible to not be in heart coherence. We are pushed into. So here is like being in Sedona. So the energy and the magnetism in here is like, wow. So I have rented a house here because I have download. I feel all dimension. I can go. You can go into so many dimension, and you can sense. So my senses have become so much more open. So it is a kind of a feminine place, but there lives people here, and they don't know, because this is their normal, as we say. But if you have a lot of shadow side, you feel that too. So someone say, oh, it's hard to be here, because they feel everything. So it is an area where you feel everything.
Oh, interesting. It's hard because they feel.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
So the people that have someone, I said, oh, that's the worst place, I never go there because it's so hard to be there, because they have suppressed so much. They have a big package on there, and they say it's so discomforting, it's pain being here, because they have to sense, they have to feel. You are forced to feel. So I think this is interesting, because Mother Earth have some places, there are many of these places, where we are in heart coherence and we feel everything.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Yeah, I lived in Kansas City. It's the heart of the heartland of the United States, and it's you could definitely feel. I mean, I've lived in a lot of places to feel that, but yes, I forgot. It's like, people don't want to feel, and that's the only way that to get through this. What I call the cosmic consciousness rebirth canal, is you got to feel it. Birthing is feeling.
Yes,
that's all that it is.
Yeah,
that's all. You can't do anything but. Oh.
So that's why I have retreat. I bring people here, and it happens so many miracles. First of all, I hold this energy. So where I go, I hold it. But when I bring them here, it's kind of double, because their habitat is kind of bringing them into heart coherence, and then everything comes up. Also, I have seen all the expressions, some anger and puking and laughter, everything comes up.
Fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
So I think that, I didn't know this before. I was guided here, and it's like, oh, what's happening to me? Because I started to feel so much.
Really?
Yeah.
How long ago did you move there?
2019.
Oh, okay.
So I rented a house. My family is in Tromsø, but I had a project. I have written the Health Bible, and finishing this Health Bible, I was guided here to rent this house, And my husband said, well, you cannot go so far. It's not responsible to our kids. But my intuition was so strong, so I couldn't resist it. So I said, well, I know that will be a solution. So when he said, okay, rent it, and then he said, wow. Yeah, it has happened so many miracles. One of the first thing I met when I came here, it's kind of funny because I met Steve Jobs.
Oh, okay.
Because I had a phone and I had trouble with my Samsung. And a friend said, oh, try to buy an iPhone. I had no relationship with iPhone. And I tried iPhone and I had so much trouble. And I asked, but I don't understand. So it was hard to switch from the Android to a new system, like a new program.
Yeah.
And they said, well, but all the advice I got, it didn't help me. But then Steve Jobs showed up. I said, you can do like this, and told me what to do. And he said, what? And I said, okay, if this function, I will continue to have my iPhone. And it did. So he helped me. So I have so much download. You can bring all entities, all energies here. It is like a portal where everything can come.
So he didn't show up in the body. He showed up in spirit.
Yeah, I talked to him.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, Steve Jobs, this was in 2019. So he was dead then. So his spirit came and he was the guru behind Apple. I said, this can't be true. I started to laugh and I laughed. So this isn't true. You are showing up to teach me how to use an iPhone.
That's fantastic. That's great.
So this was, and also I have a lot of conversation with Jesus. It's so easy. He comes a lot here also, but we can bring all entities, all spirit here. So it is a portal that it's so, we have everything when we are in heart coherence.
Yes. You can be anywhere on the planet.
Yeah.
And that's, because I definitely have heart coherence all my life, and people come to me like that too. It's been my whole life. So, it's fairly, that's why when I did my third solo show, I looked around and, I go, well, I'm 70. That's amazing. How did I get here? And then and I said, well, there for the grace of God go I, because everything that got me here was, it was a lot of the world that is invisible that got me here.
Yeah.
And then that worked through the human form, but most of it is from the invisible world, and so it's like, and then how God works through, or, through each one of us. But it's like, with that kind of coherence, anything's possible.
Yes.
Is the thing. And so that's why this time frame is, we're on the threshold into this portal of illumination. And the threshold is all about polarizing energy. Because no creation can happen on Earth without the polarization. So you're bringing people in to work with you who are ready to step over the threshold.
Yes.
And it can only happen when we become self-responsible.
Yeah.
Through feeling.
Yep.
Freedom happens with self-responsibility. I met a 99-year-old farmer when I was like 40 years old in Iowa, and I said, well, so tell me, what's going on? How does it look from your point of view? He says, well, if the people would take responsibility for their actions, there'd be no social chaos. Yeah. I said, yeah, right, that's it. It's that simple. It's just that simple. And when you take that responsibility, you start stepping out of the program that is within yourself.
Yeah.
And so that's where the places on Earth help us to do that, because they're grounding, and it's heaven and earth all in one. It's the sky that's within us, that's reflected. The sky has no judgment. It has no attachment. It has nothing. It's just lets everything come and go, and you feel it. And so the heart is the temple, is the altar
Yeah.
for all of that's coming inside of us. So it's like, it sounds like you help people to do is when they're ready to step over the threshold, to say, well, we're going to unlock the dungeon of your heart here. It's what we're going to do.
And what you say, you met a man and you asked him, what I do, I go to my earlier and past life, I merge life. And when I was a shaman and a priest in Guatemala, I was a Maya people, I was the shaman holding the tribe. I died. I did a very good job because I was responsible and hold kind of my people. But I died with kind of a heart sorrow because most people in my tribe wasn't responsible. They created so much drama. I helped them, but I didn't step up to the responsible being, as you say. So if people just can become responsible because they wanted to be a child with no responsibility, they created so much drama and came to me like the shaman and the priest holding this tribe with so much stuff that they created because they only lived out their child being without responsibility.
But remember, though, in that time, what human design the human design is really, really good framework for being in our bodies this go around, because the background frequency that's been holding all that drama, that hierarchical drama, the lack of self-responsibility in place, is the cross of planning. And the cross of planning is very strategic and it's very tribal. So when, I was in a Cherokee tribe and I had to walk the Trail of Tears, and it's like, and I was primed to be a warrior and a leader of the tribe. And then, and Bali is very tribal. It's very tribal and hierarchical.
Oh.
So, and it's all about jealousy and one-upmanship and greed. So that is going away now.
Yeah.
And there's the background frequency that has been holding that in place. It's like I said, well, that space holds our body in place.
Yeah.
Well, there's also this background frequency that holds this earth and this hierarchical dominating frequency in place. So we have to go through these lifetimes of tribal.
Yeah.
So if we're here now, if you and I are choosing to be here now, that pretty much says that we were really excited about coming and being here through the ascension. I mean, I was an indigo kid, so I was born in the 50s. So, when I was starting my intuitive integrative healing work, I was in my late 30s, and I had a woman who survived the Nazi camps. So she was older than I was, and she was an indigo. So it's like, oh, thank you for letting me be born now and not being the Nazis. But I mean, so every generation, this is what I love about, because every generation, the generations before the generations that are born, start clearing out this frequencies of the hierarchy.
Yeah.
So it's easier for each generation to get through. Doesn't mean you still have to integrate the ego and the wounds and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And open the dungeon of your heart, but it's easier. And so then, if we signed up to be here now, then then we get it. We did that in these lives. This is what we're here for. So we're bringing those gifts to this time, and we're then being able to evolve them to work here now. But and it's quite amazing to have that perspective, I might say.
Yeah. Yeah, we have.
Because it's been in my 69th year, the 60s are like adolescence. It's horrible because you're in between. You're not young. The 50s are like you have all this energy. In the 60s, you're definitely a teenager. Well, I'm not young. Should I do this? Well, I'm not old yet. I know I'm not going to die, but I am going to die. What's going to happen? So it's like so I was so happy to turn 70, because it's like, okay, 20 years. But I realize it's like, oh my God, this is probably the first time my soul, my original face, this, empty space, has been in a body for so many years. So this is going to be like the best time this life, then it's like, wow, who knows, anything's possible, especially with all the
technology.
Because the background frequency is changing so that we can be transparent, so we can transparently live. But it's not going to unless we become self-responsible. But at least we have the background frequency that's going to support us more to be in self-responsibility is the thing.
Yeah. And I think maybe we should talk about the backstage frequency, because I have never used the term. If we should try to understand it more, what do we mean with the backstage frequency?
Well, right now you have a background frequency. It's all light, right? That's your background. That's supporting you. That's supporting you right now.
Yeah.
And doing what you're doing.
Yeah. But how can we, when we are in physical life, like what is our background? So you are talking about the habitat, or?
The energy of it's just like cosmic energy that's that has been developed through the eons.
Yes.
But that came in through the stars, through all this stuff.
Yep.
Basically, so that the earth and its peoples could go through this strategizing.
Yes.
Of how to build and evolve in a body.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And everything, all frequencies have distortions.
Yeah.
So, this has been a strategy frequency. Not necessarily, the strategy doesn't have to be hierarchical, but it has been.
It has been.
Because you've got all these ETs. I mean, you have all these people that have just been like, Earth is the prison planet, right? It's the mental asylum. It's like, and at the same time, it's like, my gosh, if you can come into love here, let's go. Yeah. Let's go,
Yeah.
So it's very exciting because now it's actually going to happen. The battles in Lemuria and Atlanta, we're going to get through,
Yeah.
But in terms of the background frequency, that's kind of what I've been experiencing is that, especially being here in Bali, which is so tribal and hierarchical, and it's all about greed and it's all about money, and they have to pay for priests and ceremonies and all this stuff. It's like already it's starting to break down because the Balinese don't have the money to pay for the big ceremony in March now. So that's the breakdown of that background frequency. The frequency is expressed through us, right? It's expressed through the people.
Yeah.
So, and the choices that you make.
Yeah.
So if you keep making enough, service to me choices, which is what the tribe makes, but you got to be in service to me to get something from you. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, it's got to be a payback kind of thing. It's weird. I don't even, it's so weird to me because I've never participated in that before. I only just have to observe it.
Yeah.
And then I have to negotiate with people who do. But anyway, so the frequency, like your background frequency of all this light is no longer supporting the service to self anymore, no matter what form it shows up. So if you're going to try to, pay off the priest, well, maybe there's not going to be any money there because you got in too much debt and nobody's going to save you now. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because sense? It links to the heart coherence, because when we are in heart coherence, that's the universe kind of the background. So we all have the background. When we have the heart coherence, we are open and we feel the cosmic energy, and that's the background kind of,
Yeah, however, there's still that background to the heart coherence because you're walking in the illusion. You're walking in the program. We're walking around in our heart coherence within the program and the larger background frequency that supports the program. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why it's very, very important for each of us to come into our own heart coherence.
Yeah.
Because we're all just little planets bouncing around.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yes. I call it, we are all universes. I'm a universe, you are a universe. Yeah. So we create universe. We are evolving universe through ourselves.
Right. But we all have to walk in this stuff. And I mean, that's what the ancients say, to be in the world and not of the world.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you offer people the opportunities to practice, to be holy within themselves.
Yeah.
And then that's the only way there is to be.
But what brought you to this wisdom? Because a lot of people want to embody this wisdom. I saw that earlier when I started my path, I had heard a lot of this wisdom, but I didn't embody it. So that then it's like, okay, you hear it, it's like a belief. But then what, from your perspective, how do we come to embody all this wisdom, to become the heart coherence and the essence of us?
Well, I wrote when I was, I don't know, somewhere in my 60s, I got really tired of people coming up and saying, because I work out 3 times a week with 30-year-olds and I'm never tired. And they go, oh my gosh, you're still alive. Yeah. And I got so tired of hearing people, and these were kids. I mean, kids, 20, 30, 40-year-olds. And they all believed that they were going to die. And so I wrote this article. It's called Eldering with Joyful Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So in answer to your question, wisdom is earned each time we engage our life experience with love and self-responsibility. It's that simple.
It's that simple.
That's where wisdom comes.
Yeah.
You can be 2 years old. And if you're engaging your life in play and fun and responsibility, you're going to have a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with how old the body is.
No.
Because these kids would come up to me and say, oh, well, I met so-and-so, or my mom is, and she's not like you. I go, no, that's because she's denying her life, basically, because these kids were looking to like an older person, and then they would look to an older person and go, well, they know nothing. Right. That's because they haven't lived their life.
Yeah.
They haven't embraced all their experiences to remember.
Yeah.
And that's all that it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't, that's all that it is.
Yeah. It's so easy.
And so that's where the energetics of each generation, like I was with a woman who survived Nazi camps, and she had all this awakening awareness. It's because even when she was there, I don't know, I can't remember if she was in the camps or not, but she was definitely, in there being alive. And, that she embraced it in the best way that she could, with the love and the strength and being in her heart coherence.
Yeah.
I had a telepathic relationship with my Maine Coon cat. And when he died, I said, okay, I have a question. How do I approach an enemy? And he says, with an open heart.
Yeah. Yeah. And
to other people, that will sound like, oh no, I'm going to die. No, because the open heart is your protection. It's like the sky. That emptiness is your protection. You can see everything that comes and goes,
Yeah. Yeah, as you told me, it's so easy, and at the same time, it's so difficult because we are so afraid. We are so programmed, as you say. So we are so attached to the programming. So it is like helping people to go out of the programming, experiencing life, being like, sensing. And when I started the path, actually I thought, okay, because I was empath and highly sensitive and felt everything. When I was a healer, I was born a healer, and I healed people. And then you bring up also shame. So a lot of shame came up, and my mother said, no, stop, because she felt that her shame also came up. So I was born into a family with a lot of stuff, kind of. Right, so I had to close my heart when I was 5 years. And then when I lived, and I had a big pain body because I rejected myself. I rejected my true essence. So I needed to take all the layers off and just be who I am. Sure. And then in the beginning, I remember I thought, okay, I hope I will be less sensitive, because I saw that my sensitivity, I saw it as a curse, because I felt that it was my sensitivity that made me sick. But it was the opposite, because it was the suppression of my sensitivity.
Right, yeah.
So now I'm more sensitive than ever, and I can sense everything, all dimension. You can go with so many dimensions. And that's why I can help so many people, because I also have been in hell a lot and did that dark thing. And so I help people in the dark, because I don't, if we are a therapist or a doctor, if we haven't worked through it ourselves, we cannot go with our clients to this dark thing and release it.
Well, that's very, very true. And that's the answer to your question and what I was just saying in terms of embracing it with self-responsibility. Because it's only because that's why we're in a birth canal right now. And it's very dark and we don't know. And the only way to get into the portal of illumination is to go through that.
Yeah.
And so and when your question of embodiment, it's just when we feel we are in the body. That's it. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So if you start feeling everything that you're feeling, I mean, when I went through the dark night of the soul, it's like. Everything was rage, shame, blame. Everything came up from the dungeon of my heart.
Yeah.
And I said, if I feel that, I will die.
Yeah.
And my Sufi friend said, yeah, right, that's the point.
Yeah.
You're going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we all, and if someone does any kind of bypassing, that's service to self. Then that's not going to get there, or do the, or just move around a lot, or just think that, it's like, there's so many ways to deny it, to being in the body and to feeling. I mean, it's not new to these times. I mean, it's been happening, forever. Like you were speaking to your own tribe, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's, that's it. It's just to be willing to be present with whatever is. It's just, it's really radical acceptance.
Yes.
Is what it is.
Yeah, it
radical, just totally radical acceptance, and to know that everything that's happened is a gift.
Yeah, it is a gift.
It's a gift. Every single thing. It's like my mother was a narcissistic personality disorder, clinical. And if I had not had her, I would not really, or my stepson was a drug addict, and, my dad beat me and sexual. If I had not had that, I would not have all the gifts that come from that.
That's so true.
So, of love, because that's what we're here for. This is a planet of love. And that's why everybody wants to come down and incarnate, because if you can move through all the violence that's on this planet, if you can move through that and be that light of love, like Yeshua was he's always been my role model in that, because he knew how to, like when he went into the money chamber, it's he anchored his anger in righteous indignation, and he anchored that righteous indignation in love. And that's the only way that he could move through the money chamber with a whip and have people go through and not touch anybody with the whip. Yeah. Just that energy, just harnessing that energy of righteous indignation with what you're saying, of being in that tunnel of heart coherence. That's all we need.
Yes.
And that's the skill of being the navigator of this vehicle. The skill is learning how to work with all those different kinds of frequencies and energies that is love. That's coming through us. And that's where the self-responsibility comes in, because if we're, I grew up playing competitive tennis, and so anything that allows you to be in your body, and there's a guide to like how to put that straight. Oh, the other thing is too, is that the more strong we are, the more sensitive we become.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I also tried. I thought that I would become less sensitive, but I become much more sensitive, and I become much stronger. And now I'm as that strong. I don't think anything can kind of take me down, because I embody the whole creation kind of. So I'm.
And that's your choice to. That's your choice to fully incarnate, though. And coming back to your question, everything is a choice.
Everything is a choice.
My entire ambition since I was 3 years old to become fully incarnate.
Yeah.
I knew that at 3. So, and it's got to be, you have to choose that and devotion. And devotion is just like what you were talking to, blooming. Devotion is simply the flower staying there. Okay, rain on me, sunshine. Okay, have the dog come sniff me. Okay, I'm devoted to being present no matter what happens. And that's what devotion is. And that's what gets you to be fully, this space that we are, to be fully inhabiting this vehicle so that we can be of service to ourselves and then to others.
When I was in Guatemala, this shaman and priest, I lead in my tribe, but it was my wife. She held the feminine. She was so sensitive. So she was kind of my source as a man.
Yes,
so I went to her all the time because she grounded me, she sensed it, and she guided me. So I couldn't do the perfect job I did if I hadn't had my wife that really hold it. And I chose in that life, I want to be the same as my wife because she was the real medicine.
And here you are.
And here I am. I having the life. So I wanted to become my wife. So I'm doing this same as I did in Guatemala in the beginning of 1600, but now as a wife. And now it's like, wow, it is different. It's not that it's better or worse, but it is different because we can birth new reality, new universes. So I have delivered 5 children, and also this birth we know we are holding, we are nourishing, and we are embodying everything. So to be birthing new reality. So what I did, I hold my tribe. Now I have stepped up to make the new system, the new human system, in a feminine way, because it is honoring our feminine quality and the senses. We are evolving to being even more sensitive.
Yeah, you know, I kind of jumped into this life being beyond polarity. So this life, and I came in as a female, which I hadn't had a lot. And so all the violence was because I was in a female body, right? But I came in understanding that polarity is just energy. I don't identify with any gender, anything. I'm space. I'm just space. So, and when you speak of the feminine, now I still don't have any relationship with it. Now, that moved me through to be here now so that I could fully inhabit this female body, which is what you're doing with people. However, for me, I am just happen to be in a female body. And it's, that's it, because so in the Tibetan tradition, the females are like Tara, Yeshi Soigol, the Dakinis. They're called sky dancers. And they are represented in the female form because it is, as you say, with the power of regeneration. And they are all about dancing. They're called sky dancers because they know how to dance and play and be very fiercely compassionate in that space of non-polarity. So now, at this point in my life, being this long in my body, I can now just show up in this form. But I'm radiating and speaking to non-polarity. And how you speak to it is you play with the polarity. That's it. You just play with it.
Yeah.
It's just energy.
It's just
so there's no thinking involved with it. There's no masculine identity, you see. There's no identity. And in no identity, you are free to do whatever needs to be done, which is what Yeshua was showing us.
Yes.
You know, he said, I am the way. It's not me. It's I am that I am, and that's all that I am is the way.
Yeah. I used to I used to say it. I'm the way. I am the truth. I am life. Because I have also become. Yeshua showed us, and several. I was also that when I was the shaman in the beginning of Guatemala. So a lot of us have experienced the same as Jesus and Yeshua, but he was the one to kind of really we remember him. But
the role model.
Yeah, but a lot of us have done it earlier, and we have a remembrance of it.
Yes. Oh, I came in with all that memory. I wouldn't have been able to, because I've had the experiences that I've had in this lifetime. 10 people, are enough for 10 people, and it's just been my one life. But I came in with a lot of memory of that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been. I mean, at 3 years old, I was sitting in full lotus position chanting. What the fuck, I mean, in Danville, Indiana, in a farm town, But so, yes, and thank you for reminding me, because that's one thing I've been reflecting on, because the South Node is in Cancer right now. And it's like Cancer is, what's in the past. And it's like, all that stuff's kind of come amok, so I can own it at a different level of perspective. And I would not have survived all that I did if I did not come in with the gift of memory. Because at 3 years old, I was interconnected with all that is. I knew it, and I lived it.
Yeah.
And then all the violence happened that gave me like, okay, well, you're going to master this now. Okay, all right, fine.
But that's a little bit interesting, because when I had another life in the beginning of 1300, and I came in as you, I knew who I was so much light. And I chose the tribe I went into, and I was sexual abused because I was so light. And when I was 19, I commit suicide by giving myself to the jungle animal, because even though I knew who I was, the pain was so hard that I self-chose to give myself to the jungle, because, so even though we know, so this is kind of, I also have, since I have this experience, so we say, so it's just to remember, but even though I remember that I have incarnated, I was in the Christ consciousness, I had chosen that tribe, the pain they kind of let on me, because I went so much abuse. It was so cruciating that I chose to give myself to the jungle animal.
And that's the drama you signed up for that time around.
Yeah.
That's the role that you played for this time around. You could, because you didn't experience that this time around, right? So, but now anybody that walks through your door, I've had that experience. I know how you feel.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that you're going to be able to serve people. So that's great that you have those memories. And that's what I mean by the background frequency.
Yeah.
I mean, when you realize that for eons, the social agreement has been to be dominator, dominated, or rescuer. That's it. Those are the only roles that you can have.
Yeah.
You're either going to get genocided or you're going to survive. That's it. You're going to rescue somebody out of the genocide. That's it. That's kind of boring. That's really, really boring. I'm so sick of it. But anyway, so so this time around, I was really, because right before I jumped into this one, so I just impaled myself onto the bayonet. I go, what the fuck? I can't do this anymore. So I was really good, because then I figured out, like, at some point in this life, I go, oh, that's why all the suicide. I mean, that's why, because that's how I ended. And then, and then this time around too, I thought, well, I'd much rather commit suicide, because I can be of so much service if I'm just a light with a person, And the good news is, what that experience taught me this time around, because I didn't follow through, is that that's only the soul moving through the individual will. And the soul is saying, hey, it's time to die to all this stuff.
Yes.
And it can only speak through the individual will, because you've got to choose. Like you said, I chose to do that. I was very clearly, I chose to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to impale yourself on a bayonet, it's a choice.
Yeah.
And so in that choice, okay, I can choose to live or die. That's a choice. And when you are surrounded by individuals who feel they can only dominate you, or to know that you have a choice other than that is empowering.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to die. Oh my God, isn't this great? I have a choice.
Yeah.
And I've helped people through the years to know that, oh, my son committed suicide. Okay, fine. Well, this is why it's happening. Don't get, okay, it's like, there's many different reasons why the soul does it. But bottom line, he felt free. He felt he had a choice. It's the only one he could let him make it. It's like, it's everything. This is why I'm glad all the background frequency is shifting and all the old is dying, because it's like, I'm so bored with it. It's so bored.
Yeah.
So bored.
Yeah. A couple of times we have had a little bad line, so you fell out, but I catch it. So it was but you are in Bali and me in northern Norway, so we are on the opposite.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since we have been so much closer, all Earth has been so much closer, we connect with everybody. So it's easy. So we are in a collective dark night of the soul. How long were you in the dark night of the soul?
I don't have any Earth time. It was, I don't know, it was long enough.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know, maybe a couple of years. It was a very traditional mystic dark night of the soul, though. It was a very traditional mystic dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
Because, see, what I've noticed is now in your generations is like, oh, my boyfriend broke up with me. I'm in the dark night of the soul. No, you're not.
Yeah. Okay, so we use this as okay, I see it. Yeah. Yeah, the dark night of the soul is so much deeper.
You're just feeling.
Yeah.
Yes, you're feeling. It's not your feeling. Be grateful you're feeling, Like...
The dark night of the soul is so much deeper than the boyfriend leaving us. Yeah.
Well, it's what Yeshua showed us in terms of transmutation and all the ancients of the Far East. I mean, in the early days, I would have like ancients who were dead, and they were Indian, and they'd show up in my bedroom, it's like, okay, so and I always, and like Muktiji, my Maine Coon cat, he's an adept because he doesn't have to be earthborn. He can just change forms. He just jumped into a cat body and he became my guide,
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And I remember I asked him, okay, teach me how to do that. How can I do that? And he says, well, first you have to master polarity. Oh, fuck. Okay. So that's true.
Yeah.
That's very, very true.
Yeah.
So I feel
I did the same, but I had a dog doing the same. So she reminded me who I was, my soul plan, because she came in as a healer. She healed people, and she yeah. So she kind of showed me how to be who I am, to go back to my senses. So, and I asked her also, but she healed me and I healed her. So it was kind of, we learned through each other. And she was actually an aspect of me.
Yes,
she held also the Sua energy. The Sua, I was Sua, the shaman in the 1600s. So she was a part reminding me of what I wanted to experience here as a medicine woman of the new era as a woman.
Well, that's kind of interesting because I worked with a lot of Lakota Sioux in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And I was always, and it's like they had a larger community of people to share their wisdom with in Europe. So now I kind of understand why. I mean, that's interesting. I never connected it that way before because I'm going, gosh, because every time I would sit with Archie Fire Lame Deer, oh yeah, I just came back from someplace in Europe, and I knew other Native Americans who did too. Now that you're speaking to yes, in a past life I was on a Sioux. Oh, well, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and when we are in this shift, what we need to do it is to connect, because I hold one part and I know other hold and you hold one part. So the only way to go through this shift and holding the feminine is to collaborate, because
Yes.
all of us hold a piece of this totality.
Right, exactly.
So what we see now in Europe really is standing more together, because Europe have been very split. We haven't been good to cooperate with each other, and also the Nordic part, the Nordic Union is kind of doing more to hold, because we see that we have small countries and we need to reunite so that we are strong and holding the Arctic and holding the northern energy, and also cooperating more with Europe. And after that, then we expand to cooperate with all world.
Right.
So we see a lot of cooperation, and that's what we are moving. The universe and the hardquarians come. It's pushing us towards this.
Yeah, because if I don't, for me, there needs to be in relationship with whatever human I am, what I call a sacred reciprocity.
Yeah.
If that's not there, like there is between you and me, and then Colin, or then it's part of the old paradigm in my experience.
Yes. Yes.
It's and there's more of that happening, which is exciting. There's much more of that happening now, so it's very, very exciting.
Yes, we're taking back that we have done it. Tribes have done it, but now on a collective level, we have never done it like all the world at the same time. So this is going back to our roots. So we are actually going back to our innate gift, kind of what we wanted to experience.
Well, I don't know if the whole world's going to do it, but I do know that those who are in alignment with what we're talking about will do.
I think it will take a time, but we are rising now. We see that we are evolving big time, more than ever.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, I understand, but I'm just saying it's. I don't hold any hope for the whole world doing it.
Okay.
Because there's just those individuals who've signed up to go through the ascension. I call it. It's really. That's the first time I ever called it ascension, because for me it's diving deep into yourself. That's the only way you can ascend.
Yep.
But it's simultaneously, because it's a spiral. So you know, but for anyone who's going to come into their I am presence, into their true nature this time around, they've made the choice to do it, and the whole world hasn't made that choice. Many of the characters have shown up to not make that choice this go around. They're going to be leaving.
That's true.
To be moving into that time. So we are now coming into the alignment with those who are like, because up until this point in my life, I've always known that I still do, but each person I met, I know I had a karmic relationship with. And when you move through all the karma, then what happens is it's like, we've come together because we've made the choice to keep moving through into the new earth, where the other times I was the only one who made that choice, and I through stuff so I could keep making that choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's going to be less and less of that happening, because those people are literally going to be physically dying or just sitting there on the other side of the road, and we're not even going to be able to talk to them.
Yeah, it's going to be a split, but it will eventually die out.
Yes, that's what's happening right now. That's why I really love it, because it's so very, very clear.
Yeah.
It's so clear. It's very, very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, in like 2017 or something, I was talking to Colin, and I was saying to him, I go, well, you do know there's going to be this big split, and this is what we're going to happen, I said it, but I didn't really, I just said it. But yeah, that's what's happening. So, and it's very clear, and that's what allows us to be more discerning and self-responsible. We want to participate in this part, or that, we can what to do. It's like,
yeah. Wow. Well, Tara, it has been such a pleasure talking to you, and we have gone deep and high and everywhere. We have really...
Yes, it's been great. I'm so happy. Thank you so much.
And thank you for saying yes. You said yes.
Yes.
So
yes.
Thank you
it's
for
inviting me.
Yeah, but this is kind of, we have to say yes to life. Say yes. We are invited to step up. So we have to start to say yes. We have said so much no. Now is the time for yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for saying yes.
Yes, thank you. Tusen tack. Tusen tack. Tusen tack. In the beginning of cosmic creation, we existed as an orb of golden white light, radiating with joy, our original face. This face is our true nature. I'm Tara Khandro, a master theatrical storyteller, and I would love for you to join me in the telling of this tale, the awakening and the arising of this face of joy out of the ashes of adversity like a phoenix, and the wild adventure to reclaim this birthright of bliss. This solo performance show, with many different characters, will capture your heart, imagination, past, and future. Its entertaining, visceral, and thought-provoking style will open the gifts of your inner wisdom. Riding with God, A Fool's Journey into Freedom, is divine entertainment. Come on. Join the ride. I can't do it without you. Purchase a ticket. Enjoy the show.
Thank you for listening to the Divine Design podcast with Ann-Peggy Divine. You can follow divinedesign.it on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Join us next Sunday for another Heaven on Earth unfolding conversation. With grace, reverence, and unity, may the path of your divine design light the way. From the divine in us to the divine in you.